Understanding the data structure hash. In this chapter, you will learn about the data structure of N8N and how to use the code node to transform data and simulate node outputs. Data structure of N8N hash. In a basic sense, N8N nodes function as an extract, transform, load, ETL tool. The nodes allow you to access, extract, data from multiple disparate sources, modify, transform that data in a particular way, and pass, load, it along to where it needs to be. The data that moves along from node to node in your workflow must be in a format, structure, that can be recognized and interpreted by each node. In N8N, this required structure is an array of objects. About array of objects. An array is a list of values. The array can be empty or contain several elements. Each element is stored at a position, index, in the list, starting at 0, and can be referenced by the index number. For example, in the array, Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, the element Donatello is stored at index 2. An object stores key-value pairs, instead of values at numbered indexes as in arrays. The order of the pairs isn't important, as the values can be accessed by referencing the key name. For example, the object below contains two properties, name and color. An array of objects is an array that contains one or more objects. For example, the array turtles below contains 4 objects. You can access the properties of an object using dot notation with the syntax object, property. For example, turtles, 1, color gets the color of the second turtle. Data sent from one node to another is sent as an array of JSON objects. The elements in this collection are called items. Items. Items in the customer data store node. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 return. JSON, Apple, Beats. Array of objects in the code node. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 let items equals $input.all. Return items, 0, JSON. Work email.map. Item equals greater than, return, JSON, item. An N8N node performs its action on each item of incoming data. Creating data sets with the code node hash. Now that you are familiar with the N8N data structure, you can use it to create your own data sets or simulate node outputs. To do this, use the code node to write JavaScript code defining your array of objects with the following structure. For example, the array of objects representing the Ninja Turtles would look like this in the code node. JSON objects. Notice that this array of objects contains an extra key, JSON. N8N expects you to wrap each object in an array in another object, with the key JSON. Illustration of data structure in N8N. It's good practice to pass the data in the right structure used by N8N. But don't worry if you forget to add the JSON key to an item. N8N, version 0.166.0 and above, adds it automatically. You can also have nested pairs, for example if you want to define a primary and a secondary color. In this case, you need to further wrap the key value pairs in curly braces. N8N data structure video. This talk offers a more detailed explanation of data structure in N8N. Exercise hash. In a code node, create an array of objects named My Contacts that contains the properties name and email, and the email property is further split into personal and work. Show me the solution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the code node, in the JavaScript code field you have to write the following code. When you execute the code node, the result should look like this. Referencing node data with the code node hash. Just like you can use expressions to reference data from other nodes, you can also use some methods and variables in the code node. Please make sure you read these pages before continuing to the next exercise. Exercise hash. Let's build on the previous exercise, in which you used the code node to create a data set of 2 contacts with their names and emails. Now, connect a second code node to the first one. In the new node, write code to create a new column named work email that references the work email of the first contact. Show me the solution. 123 let items equals $input.all, items, 0. In the code node, in the JavaScript code field you have to write the following code. When you execute the code node, the result should look like this. Transforming data hash. The incoming data from some nodes may have a different data structure than the one used in N8N. In this case, you need to transform the data so that each item can be processed individually. The 2 most common operations for data transformation are creating multiple items from one item, creating a single item from multiple items. There are several ways to transform data for the purposes mentioned above. Data transformation nodes. Code node. Use the split-out node to separate a single data item containing a list into multiple items. Use the aggregate node to take separate items, or portions of them, and group them together into individual items. Code node. Run once for all items. To create multiple items from a single item, you can use JavaScript code like this. This example assumes that the item has a key named data set to an array of items in the form of data less than item underscore 1 greater than less than item underscore 2 greater than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These JavaScript examples assume your entire input is what you want to transform. As in the exercise above, you can also execute either operation on a specific field by identifying that in the items list. For example, if our work email example had multiple emails in a single field, we could run some code like this. Exercise hash. Use the HTTP request node to make a GET request to the quotable API https://